Hello everyone, today I'll teach you how you can develop a custom lead gen system for yourself with the help of Apify, custom scraping of websites, and LLM, and all of this can be done inside a cursor environment. So you can wipe code all of these by yourself, or you can let us know and we can develop this for you. So let's get into it. The first thing that you will need to do is you will need to open up cursor and then start a repo or start with a folder. Now, before going into it, I'll explain a little bit about what we need to achieve here. So basically, the first step for me is to go and bring in leads from Apify, where we have a lot of different type of scrapers. The type of scraper that I'm going to use is an Apollo or Lucia scraper, in which we have a lot of leads present and then it scraps all of the data from there. So if any of you is familiar with lead generation or GTM strategies, you know that these are all the options that we normally get when we are working inside any Apollo type filter, right? So these are all the places that we can enter, and at the end we have how many leads do you need to fetch. Once we click on find leads, what happens is that it goes and it tries to find the leads inside Apify, and once it has all of the leads, the next step in my own opinion is to verify all of the emails, and for that I basically use million verifier. So this is what you can see here, that is the email verified or is the email not verified. Once that is done, the next step is to go onto this website. As you can see, this is a website of a client of a potential lead, to go into this website and bring in all of the data from this website. Again, for this there are a number of ways to do that, and what I have done is that I have developed a custom Python scraper from where it can fetch all of the data and bring all of the data and put it inside the Excel sheet. The next step is that based on the data, I am making it write three different things. First is what is the best achievement of this organization. Second is what is the objective of this, and third is what is the pain point of this. Now, when I have all of this information, the last step I need to do is to basically create an AI agent. Without wasting any more time, let's get into it. The first thing that we need to do is we need to open up cursor and we need to open up a project. So here I'll click on open project, and in here I'll create a new folder by the name of YouTube test. So again, if you are not familiar with cursor, this is a platform with the help of which you can make AI write a lot of your code, and of course you need to know coding a little bit to understand it at a deeper level. But if you are making small agents or if you are doing work such as this, it is basically totally possible for you to do it without knowing a lot of coding structure yourself. Now, I'll just write whatever I explained to you. So for me, the most important thing is to develop a lightweight B2B SaaS agent, and this agent will utilize the anyways and this agent will utilize the following platforms, right? So the again I have put this in plan mode, so because I don't want it to just go on and start writing the code. I want it to discuss with me and see how things are going and how it's going to work, and once that is done, then I would want it to start writing the code by itself. So the first thing that it should do is it should go into Apify and bring in all the data from the best Apollo scraper that is available on Apify. So that is step number one. Step number two should be, then it should go on to the websites and scrap all of the data from the websites and save this data into the an Excel sheet, right? So once that is done, it should write three things. First thing is objective, second thing is pain point, and the third thing is, what was it? Best achievement. So the third thing is best achievement for all of these organizations. So what else am I missing? Uh, what else am I missing? So it should basically also go to million verifier, and it should verify all of the leads that are present there. Again, it then whatever are the results, and once everything is done, there should be a pretty minimalistic UI which I should be able to use to navigate this workflow, right? So the purpose of asking it to add a UI is that so people that do not know a lot about coding can actually go and see how things are performing, right? And otherwise you can just ask it to test it for you, and then try to solve the errors one at a time once they start coming. So why don't you ask me a few questions? So this is what I have asked it to develop, and the most important thing is that I am in the plan stage where it's not going to write any code, and it's just going to develop a plan for me. So the first question it is asking me is that what kind of backend agent logic do I like? So I'm basically a Python developer. Of course, it was a long time ago, but I'm a Python developer, so I'm going to select Python here. I also know Node a little bit, but Python is my go-to language. And the next is what do you want for minimalistic design? I would just go for anything. I mean, it can be Next.js, it can be HTML, CSS application. I mean, so let's just go with this. And then which LLMs do you want to use for writing objective, pain point, and achievement? So I would want to do this. And for Apollo Scrapper on Apify, how will you provide the search criteria? I want to enter search criteria in the UI each time. Yes. So I would want it to be added via UI. However, I would also want it to be testable, right? So, but now let's click on this. I have the API keys. I have the keys, and I will write them later in the .env file. You can just keep it empty, right? It's still planning. Everything which is possible, right? So it is basically asking what type of information do I want to get from the websites. So I would want to get everything, whichever thing is possible. And how should the workflow run? So fully automated, right? If I am not developing an automated solution, then it does not make sense. So it should be fully automated. However, if there are any issues, I'll make it run step by step and see if there is any issues. Single sheet for now, single sheet, right? Now it is basically searching for what are the best scrapper that it can actually utilize for developing our application. So now what it has done is that it has created this complete plan for us, that this is how our application is going to look like. So it will have a FastAPI backend. You can have a Node or any other language here. And what is going to happen is that it is going to be attached with OpenAI GPT-4o, and it's going to attach with company websites, Apollo Scrapper, Million Verifier, and Excel file once this is done. This is the project structure. This is the complete workflow. I mean, you can go into it as much as you want to. Just comment below if you would want to go into details of what it has actually created. But right now, I would just sort of skip most of these things right now. Okay, anyways, so what is it's asking? It is asking that, yeah. So the first thing that should happen is create. I've just asked it to build everything. Once this is done and everything is working and agent has done its part, what you can do is you can just add keys into the .env file. It should be right here. Now keep in mind that there are a few things that I am not adding for this video. I mean, if we are going to do a lot of stuff with the help of vibe coding, we must know a lot about what are skills and how to create skills and how LLMs can actually use it to create better websites, to create better backends, to create everything according to your need. And the second thing that is really important is that when it comes to maintenance, in that scenario, you must know a little bit about coding. And in some scenarios, if you are going to build it at a higher scale or use it at a higher scale, you should have a professional team of developers that can actually do the maintenance of the architecture down the line. But other than that, with respect to vibe code, of course you can run it, use it for yourself and see if it creates any value for you. So it has added everything, and once that was done, I asked it to perform debugging for me, and it got some errors, it got some field errors, and until now what I have asked is to just resolve the errors on its own with no help from myself, right? So now that that is done, it has also given us an output on a UI, right? And it's the same UI that we had before with everything connected. So it's on localhost 8080 and sorry 8000, and we need to run it in the terminal by this command. And of course the first time cursor will run it by itself. You can also ask cursor to run it for you and it will do it, but I just like to do it myself. Now keep in mind, when you are doing these things, it is preferable to actually ask it to test it a few times via JSON representations, right? So when ask it to write the fields, let's suppose these fields, in JSON values by itself and just perform a test. And there is no need for you to actually come into the UI and start using it for your own without first testing it with the help of cursor in JSON format, right? So just do that before and then come here and test it via UI. And now as you can see, everything is done, and I just asked it which model did you actually use, and it said I am using GPT-4o, and it is saying that this is the link. And as you can see, before doing this, I asked it to run it for 3 leads, and these were the results that it gave, that these are the 3 leads that are sending us everything. Now in the next video, I'll just try to increase this in the right steps and try to add an email campaign into it so that everything is complete and it can be used via UI. So that would be for the next video. For this video, and this is it, and this is what we can develop maybe in under half hour or 1 hour if we are working by yourself. So that's it for today. If you want to develop something by yourself like this, you can just follow along, or if you want me to develop something like this for you, you can just fill on the audit form right below this video. Thank you very much.